Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Without wasting time, we are going in direct. Please, as you join us, please do me one favor, like and share the program so others may know that we are live and we are direct in this minute. So please like, share, put your comments so our brothers and sisters we know that we are here and we are live for them to join us also. It is very imperative and important to this program. If you can, share it, because I wonder why people reject truth. I begin to find out why the world rejected Christ, the only truth that the world could have embraced, and everybody will be free. And I wonder, why is it so hard for human being to accept a single truth? I wonder, why is it so hard for human being to accept truth and to do the right thing? Honestly, this has been wondering me. These are the things that has been wondering my heart. Why our people always reject the truth, and why do they want to dwell on lies? Sometimes I begin to ask myself, so does it mean that these people that are rejecting this truth about USB were declared, or the 21st century laws that give us an easy landing for us to achieve Biafra as our own country? Sometimes, honestly, I begin to ask, so if these people that chides away from truth, if they are the one that in this world, when Christ is here with us, that they could have denied the truth and support the lies, they could have been among men who accepted, the men who accepted a criminal, and they leave the truth. Because Barnabas is a lie and deceiver and a criminal. The world accepted Barnabas and has killed the righteous man. He is nothing. Why am I using this on our movement? Because when you look at what our DPM and USB are declared are passing through today, how our own people are refusing this truth, then you have no option to believe or to concur with me that our people are not, they are the same like the Pharisees, those that asked to kill Jesus. Give us Barnabas, leave him for us. That is when you know that the truth will always suffer. That nobody accepts truth with clear eyes. It must be by force. That is why at this age we're into, we need to let people to know the truth. The world that we are living, the world that we are living, the world has said, we have changed this movement. We don't want issue of gun and bullets anymore. We want a peaceful movement. That is what we want, so that people can be free to fight for their own freedom. But rather, what are we seeing? We are seeing the lies. That we are seeing the lies that we don't even imagine that could have come up. But why do I believe that those lies will come up? I believe is that those lies will come up because of the world that we are living into. That is why I believe that lies will come. If Jesus Christ as a truth is here in front of us, and almost all human beings in that era, let me say that 99% was against Christ, was against the truth. What was the truth? That Jesus has come to give his life for us to live. Oh, people said it's a lie. Kill him. Who is him? Why do you say that? What do he think? He's only the one. Oh, you look at you, a son of a son of a carpenter. That is how the world reacted. And when you use this to compare on this movement that we are into, that have an easy access, or we have a free way to go about it, what are we seeing? We are seeing that the same rejection. And those that they are rejecting the movement have nothing to offer. Those that are condemning the movement has simple nothing to offer to the movement. The only thing they are capable of doing is what? To reject the movement. This is all they know. But he asked them, can you lead? No. Why are you criticizing someone who is leading? He's not doing well. Now he's not doing well. Can you be in that position and do it well? He will not come. Well, I once tell the people of Biafra these particular words that we all must understand at this age that we are into. If anyone, unknowingly, is accusing USB or refuse to support USB we are declared, I just want to give you one word. That person in question is doing himself more harm than good. That person is doing himself more harm than good. In this 21st century that we are into, how could the world give us an easy way for us to survive? And we said no to that we need a hard way. And this hard way is something very hard. This hard way is something very hard for us to go towards that. And in our forefathers in the past has walked towards this hard way. And the hard could not be able to solve the problem. The hard way could not be able to stop the movement, and it was on a tight corner. Now that USB we are declared, or the word peaceful declaration, is what keeps us on a soft way. That they said that this 21st century, the only process you can go, the only way for you to achieve Biafra as a country is through only peaceful declaration. This peaceful declaration is the only thing that changes the names of military. That without declaration, without peaceful declaration, the world sees military as rebel, criminal, and all manner of names, terror, and all of them. But with peaceful declaration, the world sees them as a defense force of a nation. What changes, what removes you from that you are no longer a criminal, brings you that you are now a soldier, a defense force of a nation? Which one is the best one? Is it not what removes you from being a criminal? That people look at you, this criminal. People look at this rebel. Look at this terror. When you see those such things, and you being tagged those names, and the people want to buy you because of those names, and when you see a name that has what removes you from all those names, and you live a free life, why can't we embrace it? Holding position, and you always under attack. You are always under that people want to take you away from life. Which one is the better? For you to hold this position and then live your life. You answer triple general, you answer general, commander general, and all these names. After you have answered all these names, and the war that we are into are against you. And when they look at the law that's controlling the world, you are also not on the right track of the law. What else do you want? Now they have give you what will change your status, that you will become a human being that people are listening to, a human being that whenever you passes along the road, people will say he's a normal human being. Look at what changes you, a military man, from being a rebel military, to a defense force of new nation. It's not the best thing for you. Denying the truth, not accepting the truth. Do you think that you are doing Ngozi Orebeze? Did they take Ngozi Orebeze a terrorist? Do they see her as a criminal? Do they see her as terror? Do they see her as rebel? The answer is no. It's only you that are holding gun, that are holding arms, is the one that the world will see on that position. They never see her in that position. You that even call her in that position, the world look at you and laugh you. Oh, we know her. He is a leader. He is deputy prime minister of a new peaceful declared country. So meanwhile, when you are making mockery of yourself, and the world understand that this person, this is not what he is, why are you giving those names to? And the question, can those names that you are tagging her bring her down? The answer is no. Can those names that you are tagging her strip off her positions in everything that she is doing? The answer is no. The name that you are calling her, does it stop her at any corner she wants to travel? She cannot travel. The answer is no. But you that are carrying arms, the world resists you from traveling because you are afraid of social media, because of the danger you brought to yourself, because you think that ignorance and excuse in the eyes of the law. The ignorance of you is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. There is a law. The law doesn't judge by feelings, what you think, and how you look at things. But the law judges threats. The law judges threats on how they want things to be and how they see things, and not how they see things. They judge you on the existing law, because when they are putting the law there, they don't know that you are coming. In this 21st century, that said in 2001, did they know that Biafra will be re-declared? The answer is they don't know, and they never knew about that. Now that we have re-declared, why we must stand on that existing protocol so we can be able to be free, and they will see us as a peaceful nation that are coming up. It's very easy for them to support us and give us aid. Instead of going through the other way around, they have said, we have abolished anything called military force, to use that to possess any land. We are no longer in that era. So are you telling me that you want to force the world to accept what they have on their own said? No, we are no longer in this era, in this 21st century. We have changed the movement. If the world has changed the movement, and you as a person, you continuously doing that, then what do you think about it? Do you think that what you are doing will stop anything? Rather, it's going to destroy you. The question, the headline says, why peaceful declaration? Why military on ground, liberation military needs this peaceful declaration from Ezia government more than any other person? In this 21st century, they told us that the law has shifted from armed struggle to that the only way for you to achieve your country is only through a peaceful declaration. And if there is no this way, that they are going to that they are not going to take easy on any group who want to use armed struggle to achieve a new nation. The world says no to that. If the world can say no to that, do you think that you can force the world to agree that they should allow you to use armed struggle? And who are you? You are not the one to change the law. Rather, they are the one to change the law. They are the one to give you how you can roll. If the word they give you is not good, then you're on your own, and they will come after you because of you did not accept what they implemented and how they want this people to be moving. So please, as you join us, please hit the like button, like and share the program, because we're not going to be too long, so others may join us quickly, please, my people. Like and share the program. Like, so others may know that we are live and we're direct. So they will come and listen. And if anytime the program is on your hand, if you are listening on your YouTube page or through your Facebook or through your S handle, from anywhere you are liking, just hit the like button. The like button is very important because when you like, another person will know that there is a program, those on your own personal contact. Olivos, good evening. David Ebony, good evening from here. I see you. You're welcome, my brother. Thank you so much. Let's listen to this as we move. On this 21st century / 2026 effective law of the EU, UN, AU on this 21st century. Listen.
In 2026, the global legal environment is designed to favor states and penalize militias. For a liberation military, a peaceful declaration by their government in exile, GIE, is the only legal bridge that allows them to stop being treated as criminals and start being treated as a national army. Without this declaration, the world sees you as unauthorized armed actors. With it, you become the official military wing of a sovereign entity. 1. The legal transformation, from criminals to combatants. In the eyes of the UN and International Humanitarian Law IHL, there is a massive difference between a rebel and a soldier. Status as rebels. Without a peaceful declaration of a government, your fighters are legally common criminals under domestic law. If captured, they have no right to prisoner of war, POW status, and can be prosecuted for terrorism or murder. Status as a national force. A peaceful declaration establishes civilian supremacy. It tells the UN that the military obeys a political leadership that respects international law. This grants your fighters combatant immunity, meaning they cannot be prosecuted for lawful acts of war, and they must be treated with dignity as POWs if captured. 2. The rebranding, from threat to protector. In 2026, the international community, UN, EU, AU, uses social media and intelligence to monitor armed groups. A peaceful declaration changes how your actions are interpreted. Action. Interpretation as a militia. Interpretation as a national defense force. Holding a checkpoint. Extortion, illegal roadblock. Securing public order. Arresting a spy. Kidnapping/disappearance. National security operation. Using force. Terrorism/insurgency. Legitimate self-defense. Requesting aid. Funding rebels. Illegal. Security sector support. Legal. 3. Access to professional life. The life of a liberation soldier changes because the declaration opens doors that are locked to rebels. Amnesty and delisting. A peaceful declaration is the primary requirement for getting names removed from UN and US terrorist watch lists. It allows your commanders to travel, hold bank accounts, and participate in diplomacy. Training and equipment. Legitimate nations cannot legally send weapons to rebels due to UN arms embargoes. However, they can send defensive equipment, uniforms, and communication gear to a recognized national defense force to help them protect civilians. Security sector reform, SSR. The AU and UN can only send experts to train you in modern military standards once you are part of a recognized government framework. 4. Avoiding the failed state trap. The UN and AU have a coup doctrine. They will never recognize a government that is run by the military alone. If the military liberates the country without a peaceful civilian government declaration, the world will treat the country as a security vacuum. This often leads to international intervention or total economic blockade. By following the GIE's peaceful declaration, the military ensures that once the war is over, there is an immediate civilian administration ready to take over. This prevents the country from becoming a pariah state like the military juntas in Myanmar or Mali. Summary. The chain of legitimacy. The liberation military provides the power, but the government in exile provides the authority. 1. The peaceful declaration proves you follow the rules of the game. 2. The GIE gets the UN seat and the bank accounts. 3. The military becomes the legal protector of those assets. Would you like me to draft a standard operating procedure, SOP, for the liberation military to show the UN that they are acting as a professional national force?
Listen again. This message remain, I'm still sending it to Gentle and Butu for them to find a better track and for them to run away from Haino, for them to run away from ignorance that international community will later use against them. You had it here that the UN, EU, AU use social media to monitor activities of unorganized military that refused to accept a peaceful declaration. When you are showing your arm social media, the world are watching you. They are looking after you. They are seeing what you are doing. That is why those who think that it's not social media is the only tangible where you find all the evidence you want in this life. That is why UN are capitalizing on social media this time around, both EU and AU. They watch all. We declare on November 29, 2024. The world has started watching without telling you. They watch the actions of the military. They watch what they are doing. They listen to what they are saying. If they have in the peaceful declaration. And once they find out with when they want to arrest you, you will not tell them, oh, we accepted. No, because from the one of our peaceful declaration, the world are watching the Biafra military. Seriously. Because they know the importance of peaceful declaration. So listen again. What we are doing this evening on our headline is that why peaceful declaration is very important. Butos or gentle and the makeup and all the men that are on ground. Why is it very important to them? The program we are doing. And like I said, we're not going to be so long because of my time and who it is, but we must deliver this one session, the full analysis of it. So please, that is why I ask you to like and share the program. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Good evening from here.
In 2026, the global legal environment is designed to favor states and penalize militias. For a liberation military, a peaceful declaration by their government in exile, GIE, is the only legal bridge that allows them to be treated as a national army.
I hope you're listening. In 2026, they have implemented this law holistically. They implement that this is law that we are going to use. These are their laws. These are their rules. They have thrown it out, launched it, and use it to monitor every country that's made declaration that are seeking for international recognition. Any country that has made declaration out of all the 75 exile governments in this 21st century, the world is watching all of this 21st century that they have implemented, particularly start using it starting from effective of this 2026. They are using it to monitor all the exile governments and all the states they are fighting to use it. That is the most thing that we need to understand. That is why we have to put ourselves in that line. As they know that USB was declared peacefully, because on the day of our peaceful declaration, there is no gunshots. Embargo on us. There is no military parade anywhere, but it is just a peaceful declaration, like what the world are looking from our hand to do. And now that we have done it, and now that we have go through that route, not only us, this declaration, I am telling you, the declaration is more important to the Biafra Liberation Army. Instead of that declaration, it is important to me, but it is moreover important on men that carry arms. In this 2026, the global legal environment is designed to favor a state and personalize military. Like they want to personalize, silence military attempting for a new country. They want to do what? Put favor on a state and the personalized military. And that is not the first part. That's the first criteria to become a sovereign nation. They want to personalize. Said military is not. We don't want. That is why they said We have chosen a peaceful declaration as the only way to achieve a new country. And they said, this is a soft way for every new nation. That this is what? A soft way for every new nation. Network is checking seriously, but we must continue. Now, let's continue. A peaceful declaration, from a liberation military. A peaceful declaration by the government in exile. By the government in exile is the only legal bridge that allows them to stop being treated as a criminal and start being treated as a national army. Look, when you listen to some things, when you listen to this, then you may understand why the declaration is more, why this peaceful declaration is more important to the Butos or Gentile, any human being that support this movement, claiming he's fighting for Biafra. This peaceful declaration, this our peaceful declaration, they are supposed to be the one that will be happy and stand on it. Because of what? The peaceful declaration changes their status from a rebel, from a common criminal, to what? To a defense force of a nation, a national military, or a national arm, no longer what? A common criminal. They make it openly. The only thing that is legal that changes the names of the military, the liberation military, like a common criminal, a rebel, the only that changes their name is what? To a military of a nation is a what? A peaceful declaration. When only this peaceful declaration is what saves you from the eyes of the international community, or those who tag you terrorists, those who tag you common criminal, those who tag you rebel, those who come out of names. Only this our peaceful declaration sees it in the eyes of the international community. Why can't we embrace this our peaceful declaration? We continue.
Without this declaration, the world sees you as unauthorized armed actors. With it, you become the official military wing of a sovereign entity.
I hope you're listening. Without this peaceful declaration, the world sees you as an unauthorized armed actor. The world sees you as what? As an unauthorized actor. With it, you become the official military wing of a sovereign entity. After or immediately there is a peaceful declaration. With that peaceful declaration that you accepted, you will become an official military wing of a sovereign entity. Why do you become a military of a sovereign entity? Because you accepted the peaceful declaration. That is how you become a sovereign entity. Something that changes you from a common criminal as an unauthorized armed actor, that makes you automatically become automatically becomes military defense of a nation. Are you not supposed to embrace it, hug it, and chase that thing that gives you that leverage in this movement that we are into? Check yourself and ask yourself with your phone, what is the meaning of peaceful declaration? Sorry, no, ask, how can a peaceful declaration changes the status of a liberation military? Just can you do that? Then you will find an answer very quickly to yourself. Remember, without this declaration, without this peaceful declaration, the world sees you as an unauthorized armed actor. With peaceful declaration, you become the official military wing of a sovereign entity. With only peaceful declaration, you become official official military wing of a sovereign entity. Now, with what the official declaration or peace declaration give to you and what it not give to you and no declaration, which one is the best? For me, a peaceful declaration that changes everything into a military wing of a sovereign entity is the best one we can choose. Let us go to number 1.
1. The legal transformation from criminals to combatants.
What changes you from a criminal to a combatant military? Listen to that. Is still what? The peaceful declaration.
In the eyes of the UN and International Humanitarian Law (IHL), there is a massive difference between a rebel and a soldier. Status as rebel.
I hope you are listening. The legal transformation from criminal to a real triple general that you claim you are. In the eyes of the UN and International Humanitarian Law, IHL, which that was trained Biafran military, which was trained the military of United States of Biafra for some times online. That is what they are saying also. They said, in the eyes of the UN and International Humanitarian Law, IHL, there is a massive difference between a rebel and a soldier. What makes you a soldier? Peaceful declaration. What makes you a rebel? No declaration, you become a rebel. And after the peaceful declaration and you refuse to accept it, you still remain a rebel. And those who accept it, it becomes a soldier, who become a defense force of a new country. Let's continue.
Without a peaceful declaration of a government, your fighters are legally common criminals under domestic law. If captured, they have no right to prisoner of war, POW status, and can be prosecuted for terrorism or murder. Status
as a rebel. Listen, how the word criteria put a criteria for a rebel and they put a status for you. And ask yourself, am I putting this bad status that the world never wants to my social media? If I will, if I am on that, I must change. Let's continue. Status as rebel. Without a peaceful declaration of a government, you are fighting an illegal common criminal. You are fighting an illegal common criminal without a peaceful declaration. Without what? A peaceful declaration, you become a common criminal under domestic law. If you are in Biafra land and you are following Butozo and Butozo don't want to change, you better you run away from there, because why do I say so? Let's all these status that government want to change because of the members favors you. Because when you continue on that aspect, there is no way for you. That is why we are here, to remove you from her dino that will come at last. Despite the hard time, despite the very tight time somebody have, we murdered our sleep for us to bring out the truth. That is why we're reading the UN law on the humanitarian law for you, so you may understand that it's not about Ngozi Orabeze. It is about the only one thing that she grabbed very well, which is what? The peaceful declaration of United State of Biafra. That peaceful declaration also changes you from a rebel to a military commander who will come outside if you have accepted it. This is a massive difference between, there is a massive difference between a rebel and a soldier. Are you hearing it? A soldier is one who defend his people. A peaceful declaration is what changes everything. Now that this peaceful declaration changes the movement that we are into for us to become a nation, and you as a liberation military who are inside bush, they have tagged all manner of names, that your name will be changed. Which one is the best for you? Is it not what changes your status is the best for you? The movement of this our declaration is just like somebody who won an election and start answering honorable. Do you understand it? You must continue. Remember, without a peaceful declaration of a government, you fighting an illegal common criminal under domestic law. If captured, they have no right to prison you they have no right to prisoner of a war POW. Status can be persecuted for terrorism or murder or rebel. It can be because of the status can be when you refuse to adopt the peaceful declaration, the status can change. But if you accept this peaceful declaration, the status cannot be able to change. If you are military on ground, be very careful the actions you are taking on social media, because the UN, EU, AU uses social media to watch the military of every new country. You don't know that, but that is the truth. That is the pure truth. So it is in our own time that the world has changed the narrative of having a new country. Instead of under gun and bullet, they said only peaceful declaration. And as you can see, they centralize everything about it on a peaceful declaration, both the military and everybody. That if military disobeyed this, the military disobey the peaceful declaration, the military remain a rebel, remain a common criminal. But if you accept it, you are no longer on that. That is why it is important at this stage for you to know exactly what government is doing and what it's all about. You must continue. Now, if you are being captured, if any member of Gento, if any member of Butozo, if Angelo Wama and the makeup, if anything happens to any guy inside the bush, what will happen? If the world catches you, they will treat you as the one who committed that crime. Things is no longer funny anymore. That is why we need to do fast. Instead of you to support the life and the savior, you are supporting darkness and death. Anybody who is telling you to give a don't know where go is supporting death, is not supporting life and light. Because USB is the light and life. USB is the saver of all Biafrans. My people, the time that we are into and the order we are seeing through, there is an existing protocol. There is a way to go in. Let's follow this way that the world wants us to go in with. And from there, we'll get all we wanted free.
As a national force, a peaceful declaration establishes civilian supremacy. It tells the UN that the military obeys a political leadership that respects international law. This grants your fighters combatant immunity, meaning they cannot be prosecuted for lawful acts of war, and they must be treated with dignity as POWs if captured.
I hope you are listening. Status as a nation force, a peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration establishes a civilian supremacy. It tells the UN that the military obeys a political leadership that represents international law. This grants you a freedom generals immunity, meaning they cannot be prosecuted for lawful act of war, and they must be treated with the dignity as a prisoner of war. They must be treated with a dignity as POW if captured. Because of what? Because there is a what? A peaceful declaration. Remember it here again. A peaceful declaration establishes a civilian supremacy. It tells the UN that the military obeys a political what? Legal aspect of it. Now let me ask you. Now that the world are going to ask USB, the government in exile, about the military, what do you want her to answer? What do you want her to answer to the world? You that refuse to accept. Now, if she go and tell the world, and they refuse to accept to whatever you see you may take. Look at it here. She's not the one controlling, but there is people that are controlling the movement. Those that controlling the movement are the one dishing order and telling you what to do.
2. The rebranding from threat to protector. In 2026, the international community, UN, EU, AU, uses social media and intelligence to monitor armed groups. A peaceful declaration changes how your actions are interpreted. Action. Interpretation is a
There is something I want to understand. The rebranding from threat to protector. In 2026, the international community, UN, EU, AU, see a social media as an intelligence to monitor armed group. A peaceful declaration changes how you act. A peaceful declaration changes who you are. A peaceful declaration changes everything about what we are doing. A peaceful declaration changes calling the military on ground all kind of names. That is why we must embrace. That's why I told you that what the world are looking for, and what the international community observing is not what you have in your mind. They have a different opinion of their own, and no matter how you do, that's the opinion, that's their law, is what they're going to use. So nothing will change it. Nothing's gonna change the movement. Please remember to put your comments down. If you never like, please, I urge you to like and share the program, please. Make it go viral. So those men on ground will hear it, both everybody. And also those who are planning to sabotage. Hey. I hope you are listening. Because this is where into the truth must be told. The word has given us hand of peace. We need to return the hands of peace through our peaceful declaration. Let what happened in time of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. Let it not happen again. Like Biafra become a failed state because of lies and propaganda for our people. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: that this truth must prevail. In 2026, the international community, UN, EU, AU, use a social media as an intelligence to monitor armed group. A peaceful declaration changes how your actors are implemented. The implementation and whatever we are going on today have a criteria how you to listen. They are monitoring us. Be very careful, because the people of the world, their reason are different from how you reason. Their feelings are different from how you feel. They stand on the right track and they focus on it. Let us see one thing. Action. Interpretation as a military. Interpretation as a national defense force. After accepting a peaceful declaration, that is how all these things come in. Now listen to it.
Interpretation as a national defense force. Holding a checkpoint. Extortion, illegal roadblock. Securing public order. Arresting a spy. Kidnapping/disappearance. National security operation. Using force. Terrorism/insurgency. Legitimate self-defense. Requesting aid. Funding rebels. Illegal. Security sector support. Legal. 3.
I hope you followed down here. This is how it goes. Actions of the militaries, both in the old and in this present 21st century. In this present 21st century, the actions are different from what was in the past. Now, what is the actions and how the criteria they put everything together? They said action. Hiding a checking point, hidden in a checking point. They hijack checking point and they stay there and be collecting money. Extorting, when they see you on that particular roadblock, the word will see you as what? Extorting an illegal roadblock. They did what? They call it an illegal roadblock. But if there is a peaceful declaration and the minister accepted it, they said securing public order. Securing a what? A public order is the important thing. I hope that you are following. And I hope that you are understanding why we are here and why we have to do all this. Because our people must hear this message. And how can they hear it? When you help me and share the message, our people will hear the message. It's very important. What this is are those things that we should do that will help us to achieve Biafra as a country. These are those things that we want you to understand, that these people did not mean well and they are not losing the country, but by all possibly means, the word said in the comparison of old and new, in the comparison of 21st century and the 20th century is what? Look at it here. Hiding a checking point, extorting illegal roadblock. So, securing public order. Look at it. We still on what? On action. Arrest a spy, kidnapping, disappearance. If you arrested anybody or by any human being because of Biafra, the world are not yet seeing you as the government. They see you as what? As a rebel. They see you as someone who somebody that refused to accept the law. When you are refused to accept this law, 21st century, like I said, you are doing yourself more harm than good because it's the only way. There is no other way around. So if you're USB and Lassen, continue doing that because it's your turn. So at this point that we are into, if any Biafra Liberation Army or those who claim they are liberation commanders, if they try to arrest anybody, the word we said, they kidnap somebody and make someone to disappear. Now, 21st century, national security operator, the way we must have it like we have already have it in our land. This is how 21st century that we can achieve Biafra without knocking one bullet on anybody and peacefully. It's going to take us time. Destiny can be delayed, but destiny can be delayed, but it can never be denied. Now we continue. Use force, terrorism, and insurgency. Are you hearing it? When you refuse to accept a peaceful declaration, when you refuse it, when you don't understand on that mandate, what happens? That is where other things comes along. Then, child, our people need to understand the importance of what we are doing. Our people need to understand that this movement that we are into is not what I think. It's not how I feel. How I feel is quite different. What I want to narrate social media is quite different from what is happening. What our people are doing is different from what the world are looking for. You see, the things that somehow we give all our time to discuss social media, the world call it internal affair. We cannot focus on more internal. Rather, we need to focus on external. We need to focus on what? External, not internal. And that is also how the world are watching USB they are declared. If USB will leave their job and focus on what? On internal matters. But I thank God the USB focus on external, not internal. They focus on things that will destroy Nigeria. And that is where we're supposed to channel our strength. We're supposed to also channel our strength on what will protect our military, not what will destroy them. So that is why I am bringing it so hard. I know we're not going to ask from them. That is why I ask you, or I urge you to do what? To share this message and like it. So there we hear it. This is not only for gentle. This is for those who followed Solomon Nkwocha. This is for those military that live from USB and follow Solomon Nkwocha. Solomon Nkwocha is bringing you on the stage of that your name is a rebel. Solomon and his men, anybody after our peaceful declaration that telling you another thing except to conquer, except to agree, abide by the law, or respect or take instruction from USB we are declared, that person is putting you on the level of a common criminal, putting you on the level of a rebel, putting you on the level of what? Terror. It's not goes on a It's you and your belief and who you serve is putting you on that stage. Ngozi Rabeze want to make a change for you. Ngozi Rabeze decided that she will do what? That she will make it for you to have a new country on easy way without somebody arresting you. And remember, they said that even though if any military was arrested, that the world will treat him as a prisoner of conscience. They will treat him like that. They are not going to be treated as a criminal. That is why it is important on this stage that we all understand the importance of what we are doing. I want you to know where we are. Also, I want to understand that some things that we are doing does not really matter. That thing that matters so much is how to educate ourselves to know how USB is getting it right. Our people like gossip. Our people like ebe a ga-akụ ya ọ na-akụ ka m na-egere ọkọsịa ya eje m tinye kwuo m ihe m chere. Ihe I chere maọbụ ihe m chere ama anya anyị bịa recognition. Take it or you leave it. And let me tell you, destiny can be delayed. It cannot be denied. Whatever that all these groups are doing, if 547 or 48 could not stop America to become a country, there is nothing all this chihuahua will do. They will make noise and get tired. You know, what gives them morale is that when they make noise, we come out. We continue every day to analyze them. They said, yes, they are wounding us. They are hitting us hard. No matter what you preach, no matter what you do about them, those who believe on them, believe on them. Now, if you as a military commander who refused to accept a peaceful declaration, and if you arrest anybody, they will say that you are a kidnapper. You make people to disappear. But if you accept the declaration, you become a national security operator or operation. This is how the world view it. Now, using force to achieve a Biafra, they said, all of you are terrorists and insurgency. Is it what you want us to continue answering? Now, if you agreed on the side of peaceful declaration, the legitimacy self-defense, nobody will charge you terrorism and insurgency anymore. This is how it is. That is why I'm telling you that you are not coming here on my page to listen to things that make you laugh, but I'm here to educate myself to know that this is supposed to be the rule of the military after a peaceful declaration. You continue. Finding rebel illegal. Finding a rebel illegal. Request aid. If any, like those who are calling Donald Trump, Netanyahu, if they continue, they will not get any aid because the UN, the EU, the AU, the US, Israel, and all the people that we are calling, they believe what? Funding rebel illegal. Now, security sector supports legal. Between illegal and legal, which one is the best one for you? For me, legal is the best one. Illegal is no good. So it is very important that we all understand this clearly, that only one thing that changes the names of our people or the military is only peaceful declaration. Is number first automatic heavily criteria or number 1 point that leads what we are doing.
Access to professional life. The life of a liberation soldier changes because the declaration opens doors that are locked to rebels. Amnesty and
I know why I'm pausing it. Access to professional life. A peaceful declaration changes the life of a liberation soldiers. Changes because the declaration opens doors that are locked to a rebel. The declaration open door. Nobody will tag you rebel again because of what? Because you accept a peaceful declaration. I also want to understand that this particular peaceful declaration is more sacrosanct, is more important to those claiming on ground. To remove them from terrorist name, to remove them from terrorist list, remove them from the rebel group, remove them from a common criminal, and many more like that. My people, ojiraka aka sepo onwe ọnụ nara nne ya swa na nne ya nyere ya. Ojiraka sepo onwe ọnụ nara nne ya asekwa na nne ya nyere ya. Please, as you join us, I wish you can like and share the, put your comment. Like and share the program, please. So, we must understand. We must believe in the truth. We must believe in the truth. You may say, why am I continuing issue of military? Yes, because that is the problem we are facing. That is the scam they are doing all of you. Because they refuse to allow them to know the truth. The only way, the only safe haven you have is USB we are declared. That is what the world call, UN call it a peaceful declaration. Our own is a peaceful declaration. That is the only safe haven for every military. That removes your name from being a what? Removes your name from being rebel, common criminal, terror, and all these charges that are charging men that are carrying gun that are not well recognized. The peaceful declaration changes your status. You become a military of a nation, defense force of a sovereign entity. I don't know what you want again. The Ngozi Rabeze you are attacking is your savior. Ngozi Rabeze is a savior of any military in Biafra territory. Ngozi Rabeze is your savior. Ngozi Rabeze is your level changes. Ngozi Rabeze is changes your status. Ngozi Rabeze removes you from charging you with terrorist, rebel, common criminal, a spoiler, all kinds of names that are being calling. It's Ngozi Rabeze that changes for you. This woman make you to be keep you alive today. If you refuse to accept this peaceful declaration, you on your own. Continue answering rebel. That is how Donald Trump sees you. That is how Netanyahu, you are calling, sees you. These are how the international law sees who you are. I hope you are following. Please like and share the program. We have a little comments. I know that our people does not like to be where we can do things that will help us. We want where we can go discuss about Eggman, discuss about the Arama. That is the thing that we like to discuss so much. That is where you see our people. That is where you see our people. And the things that we needed to know, the world don't know is that Arama. You, on your own, already know that Tadade Arama is a liar and a criminal. Why do we have our time to them? We focus more on internal matters, internal affairs is what we focus on. We never give our time to external matters until you start doing that. Until you start doing that to use that to help USB we are declared. Once you start doing that to help this peaceful declaration that we have made on the consequence of the international law of this 21st century / 2026, that they have implement this law holistically, that nobody will stop it anymore.
Listing. A peaceful declaration is the primary requirement for getting names removed from UN and US terrorist watch lists. It allows your commanders to travel, hold bank accounts, and participate in diplomacy, training and equipment. Legitimate nations.
No, let's hold it one. Access to professional life. The life of the liberation soldiers changes because of there is a peaceful declaration, opens doors that are locked to a rebel, to what? To a defense force of a nation. Amnesty and dignity. A peaceful declaration is a primary requirement for getting names removed from the UN and the US terrorist white list. Hey. Are you hearing it? You are calling Donald Trump. You are calling Netanyahu to come. Joseph, welcome. Chico James, you're welcome. Thanks so much for coming, brother. Thank you. You are calling Donald Trump. You are calling Netanyahu. Donald Trump, you are calling is US. Now, there is also UN. There is also EU. There is also AU. Now, look at their word. They said, a peaceful declaration is the only primary requirement for getting names removed from the UN and US terrorist white list. Now, you that refuses a peaceful declaration, where do you think that Donald Trump and the US and UN and all this organization will put your name? They will put you on the white list of a terrorist and rebel group. That is, look at the UN law where they put you. Look at where Israel, look at where the Israel you are calling, look at where the America you are calling, look at, and they know they are what power, so they are more superior in the line of the UN to use to work. What is that thing that is bothering you so much? That that makes you to refuse the light and you choose death. A military in the first century is a death trap to any liberation military who refuses a peaceful declaration. That is truth. Please, if you join, hit the like button, please. Because hitting the like button, why is it important? Other people will know that we are live, so they can be able to listen to this program. It's from hand to hand. That is how it goes. From me to you, from you to another person. Please do that. Please do that. It allows your commanders to travel, hold back accounts, and participate in diplomacy. It allows them to move out. Today, can they move out? It's not by hiding. Can they travel with their full feet? It's open their rename. The answer is no. But a peaceful declaration changes everything. Why can't we adopt this peaceful declaration? Something that removes your name on the white list of her answering a criminal. Okay, let's do this way. You have a court case, and after everything, they verify that you are innocent. After all the accusation, what happened? They discharge and acquit you. They also threw away that name that you was being called when you was in court. You never win the case. Now that you have win the case, they are going to trash out every document bears your name in the court that you are an innocent man. That is how important and more important of a peaceful declaration that changes you carrying a gun in the Biafra land from being a rebel, being a criminal. It changes you to what? To sovereign state soldier, sovereign a nation, defense force of a nation. That is where he puts you. You are now being removed from the white list of those are terrorists, those are rebels, those are common criminal, those are spoilers. You have removed yourself from this name and you put yourself that your name is what? A peaceful declaration changes the name to Defense Force of a new nation. What else do you want? Those are the savior of all the military in the homeland. Whether I like it or not, I must tell you. I must give it to you so you may understand. The history must carry us. And the law is like a history. If history is about to repeat in this movement, is it repeating on your side as you're on the right track? Is it repeating on your side or your side of betrayers and rebel? Ask yourself with your action. Listen to this program and change your life. Because Rebel is another savior of life, whether I like it or not. Now, we continue. Training and equipment.
Not legally send weapons to rebels due to UN arms embargoes. However, they can send defensive equipment, uniforms, and communication gear to a recognized national defense force to help them protect civilians.
Are you hearing it? For you to have aid, for you to have some things that are need to be given you to protect the citizens, you must accept a peaceful declaration by a government in exile, the only one and only from the head and the hand of the Tongozo Arabese. That is the only legitimate one that you need to know at this area we are into. That is the most perfect one you need to know. You see, if I be far banaka, adreji enye elelia. Mmadụ adịghị akpụ akwụ nsị gị wetara ya mmanụ ka ya wee taa akwụ. It's not possible unless you are a bad human being. Legitimate nation cannot legally send a weapon to rebel. You that refuses our official declaration. You that did not accept our official declaration. You that think what you are doing is the right way. The world are calling you what? Because of you reject and insulted a peaceful declaration of a new nation, the world will tag you what? A rebel. Look at what they said here. Legitimate nations cannot legally send weapons to rebels. Who are these rebels? Those who refuse our official declaration. You know yourself. Those that refuse our official declaration are the rebels. There's no two ways about it. Now, due to UN embargoes, however, they can send defensive equipment, uniform, and the communicational green to the recognized National Defense Force. And who will organize this defense force? The one that USB we are declaring in exile said, this is the one we have trained. This is one for the Biafran people. These are the one under this government. They are the one who will organize, and you will be there like this, folding your hand because you refuse to accept a peaceful declaration. Refusing to accept this peaceful declaration is like you putting rope on your neck. Forget that you are ignorant. Forget what you think. Forget how you know and what you did not know. The truth is what I am telling you, and the truth is always bitter. Now that you can say, oh, he's calling men on ground a rebel. No, I am not the one, but their actions call them. The actions of men on ground calls them such names. Their action in the eyes of the international community calls them rebel. Not me, not the Biafra TV. But I am here to give them this message so they can, from this message, understand the importance of what they are missing. They can understand the importance of what they are missing. What are they missing? They are missing the brave opportunity they have. They are missing what's supposed to be a legal backup to them. What changes their name from rebel? Because I am doing this program because I want their name to change from rebel, to remove on that white list of US and UN. Because I want their name to remove from there. I want them to embrace and accept peaceful declaration from the government in exile, which is from the office of our DP. That is the only government you have. All the other things you are seeing is a scam. That does not exist. If you don't accept the message, maybe you want to still continue to remain as a rebel. You want to continue seeing on the white list of the US, the Donald Trump you are calling. They have a white list where they put people's names that are illegally carrying arms and disturbing the atmosphere. Coming to dance, you are throwing weapon everywhere. Coming to dance, you are showcasing weapon everywhere. Social media. And the world says, no, hell no to that. You don't know the meaning of what you are doing. This you are ignorant is no longer in this 21st century. This we are dancing with arms on social media. In this 21st century, the world don't want it anymore. And the world don't want to see any military commander who will come and give order to the citizens. No. Because the world believes in democracy, civilians ruling. The world believes in democracy, civilians ruling, not by military order, not by autocracy. We are no longer in the military era regime. We are in the era of what? Peaceful democracy from the civilians, from a bloody civilians. They say that is one that brings stability, peace, but liberation military bring instability and fear in the people's mind. She went the week. I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know what you really want, or what people really want. That's why I said that anybody, not I said, this from these UN articles, you can see that once you refuse to accept a peaceful declaration, you've been tagged a rebel. You've been tagged terror. You've been tagged a spoiler of his own people's new country. They put you on the white list. They will call for your arrest and capture you. As we are further on this, then we see how many countries in Africa that their liberation commanders was arrested because of refusal to, after declaration, to accept the power of the civil a declaration of their own people. Then they refuse to support, they refuse to accept a peaceful declaration. Instead of that, they stand and be giving orders. It happens in Mali. It happens in Mali. Not this present takeover of the military regime in Mali. When Mali make their own declaration, this is a problem that we face today occur. It also occur Angola. It also occurred many countries. Those people, they become warlords inside bushes. Later, US team up with the existing country, fish them out, arrest them. Many of them today give a life imprisonment sentence over 50 years in ICC or prisons. Go and check. So you will know what you are doing. And I want you to always ask me a question. How did the other countries get their own through their military when it's time of military regime? Now that it's no longer the time of the military regime, how can we get it? These are things that we need to be known on our own. Please like and share. If you never do that, your comment encourages me whenever I see it. Dear Woma Aziri Biafra TV, more wisdoms so you are able. Thank you so much, my brother. You too, for always checking out and being here. I appreciate all of you in the comment section. It is very important that we understand where we are. And we understand the level of government you have. You should understand the level of a peaceful declaration that was held on Helsinki, Finland, November 29, 2024. It is very important. The military must understand that this particular peaceful declaration is a savior to all of them. It is very important. That is why I'm here to bring it out to you. Even at my tight schedule, I must come to let you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But remember, the truth comes at last. And when the truth prevails, Hadaino follows. So please run from Hadaino. That is why I am giving you. Don't look at me. Don't look at the Mozart, but look at what you will face on your own. Look at the sufferings you are going to go through if there is no peaceful declaration. I have sent you the message. Elect for you to do it. We must continue. Due to UN embargo, however, they can send a defense equipment. They can send a defense equipment or uniform and the communication to agree to recognize you, unless it was being done by the government in exile. That is only when the world will see it and said, yes, these are the right people. We can now give them support. We can give them aid because of they are civil government for the people, by the people, not by autocracy, not by you inside bush giving order. If you are inside bush giving order, the world sees you as a rebel. The world sees you as insurgency. The world sees you as terror. The world sees you as a common criminal. The world sees you as a spoiler. Is it what you want yourself? Oh, the truth must be told. Now we continue. Security sector from SSR. Let's listen.
Security sector reform, SSR. The AU and UN can only send experts to train you in modern military standards once you are part of a recognized government framework. 4. Avoiding the failed state.
I hope you are listening. The AU and the UN can only send experts to train you in modern military standard once you are part of the peaceful declaration government in exile framework. If you are not believing in this, that is why for you to know the truth, remember this IHL that USB connect online is another mindset blowing that you may understand that the government is on the right track, and which is they are the one that the world must recognize no matter what comes, because they are only one who met the criteria of peaceful declaration. Bagam, whether like it or not, this is a mind blower. This is a gospel truth I'm telling you. These are the truth.
A trap. The UN and AU have a coup doctrine. They will never recognize a government that is run by the military alone. If the military liberates...
What do you hear? That the UN will not organize a country that's run by military. In this 21st century. The law has changed a lot. We must change. We must join the world. We must accept it for our own betterment, our own safety. That is why we must accept a peaceful declaration. That is only way to achieve a new nation. That is only way we have to go in. Because when we continue talking of fighting ourselves, continue doing a situation on ourselves, the world will find out that that truth that hide from us, that we can't lay hand on it. For you, or is there anything that Egwan will say today that will bring you down to stop believing in USB? Honestly, we are very far from things that give freedom. We are very far from things that give freedom through external. The only one thing we masterminded is on ourselves. We know how to discuss ourselves, put the headline. That is all we know. And that is how we fight for our own freedom. Why things that are giving a new nation, the laws, the template, the criteria are being hid, why we cannot discuss it and maintain it as the citizens of that new country? At this stage we are in, there is things that needed more attention from us, social media. Our ID card need to be addressing every blessed day. There is nothing enemy is going to say today that you don't know that this is an enemy stock. Tell me, if you believe in USB, is there anything that Shiamaka Ajere will say that is not a lie, that he has lied before? That if it's not for propaganda, that is all he can do. We are far from freedom. I must tell you the truth. And this time around, they said that we have to talk on more issue of humanitarian. We must talk about the humanitarian aspect of it and the criteria that leads to recognition. And we also need to remind the world that we have. You think that the message is going. The world said they have social media to monitor. Once a new country made a peaceful declaration, they are checkmating everything that we are doing. That is why one man said in my comment section that our problem that we are not ready to have Biafra as a country because we focus on the things that are no matter so much. But the things that we're supposed to focus, we allow them focus on the internal matters. And that is what we like to hear. If this platform, if what they know being discussed another or every time, Eggman, people will be watching this program now will be above 50 or 100 people. But because of I'm discussing the issue that is in a document, how many people do you see? Only 18 people. That is how we do that. That is who we are. We need to learn from our Obatobi and Rabeze. She comes out, give the world the message. She overlooked the others in some areas because they are not going to do anything. If 56 men if 56 men that stand on the mandate of peaceful declaration of America won against 548 that signed that they never want America to be a country in 1776, what will happen? Our people, we are very far from freedom. We know how to attack ourselves. We know how to invest time on ourselves instead of investing our time on the things that the world are hiding from us. I leave it there. Avoid a failed state trap. What Adade Orama is doing cannot give us a failed state. What Shiamaka Ajere is doing cannot give us a failed state. That is the pure truth. What will give us a failed state is what? On the military side, on the international community level. That thing that Eggman is doing can never give us a failed state. But you see these men are always gone in Biafra territory. They are the one they can use to tag us what? A failed state. This is whether I like it or not.
Country without a peaceful civilian government.
Now, The UN and AU have a coup doctrine. They will never recognize a government that is running by military alone. They will not. Like now, we see them bringing a butozo, bringing gentle, ask gentle. You are the one who wears the shoe, you know where it pinches you. The world can never address such issue. The world cannot discuss such issue, no matter how, no matter what you think. That is not how the world look. They look at what? Look at it here. Military. Military is number one thing that will make us to have a failed state. Military is one thing that will make us to have a late in recognition. But go and check the history very well. Check every document. Military is number one thing that will make us to have what? A failed state. Not those individuals. Now, if the military leader, they will never treat that particular government, they will never treat that country as a real country. They will treat you and put you. This offers leaders to international intervention to totally economy lockdown. They will lock everything up against us. They will lock everything up against us. That is why we must let Butos and Gentle to know that you never want Biafra really. If you want Biafra or if you don't know, listen to the message and know it clearly. That's what we are doing. That they said there is no way Donald Trump or Netanyahu will answer you because they have existing law that they're using against a military that refuses to accept a peaceful declaration. In their white list, they will tag you rebel, they will tag you terror, they will tag you common criminal, they will tag you a spoiler. And how do you think they will come to save you? Rather, they are the one to pick you up, put you in prison, for them to have a stable government and a stable atmosphere. Why you are causing instability? That is why they said that we have issued this out in this 21st century. We have implemented this law holistically in this 2026. That only way for a new nation is through a peaceful declaration, not through military again, not through military conquest anymore. Battlefield, no, but it must be on a stable ground, not an instability ground. These are truths that we must know. Take the truth to home. That's why I ask you to like and share the program if you never do so. By following the government in exile peaceful declaration, by following the exile government peaceful declaration, the military ensures that once the war is over, there is an immediate civil administration ready to take over. Now that our USB has been declared in this 21st century, this particular area was in the earlier 20s, in the 20th centuries, where they believed that military can go into a war. Once the war ends, that they must hand over to who? To the peaceful civilians administration. Now that on the 21st century era, that everything must be through a peaceful declaration. Now that the government has run very fast and made that peaceful declaration, what are you waiting for? Why are you not joining the government? Why are you not supporting the government? Why are you staying outside from the government is my question from you. Because you want to continuously making the Biafra people. You see Biafra as a business you are doing. Let me tell you, those money you are saving in a bank with that person's name is when you are alive, you spend those money. Those people that are there know that you put that money, you spend it anyhow they like. You see all of you who put money in the bank because of you are fighting for Biafra. If anything happens to you, you will not know about the money. So for nothing to happen to you, that is why you have to embrace United States of Biafra we are declared as the only solution for a new nation. It's not good about saying that because she declares it. No. The law has already been there. That's why Abato Obies said, unless we do this declaration, then we are serious. If we had not do this declaration, that we are making noise in social media. The importance of declaration on the military aspect. This declaration is more important to all the military, to every man, everything that carries arm in Biafra land. Everything that carries arm. The declaration, this our peaceful declaration, is more important to them than any other group. Because they did not see hand arm in my hand, but in your hand and your picture is there with it. It's a time that we tell ourselves the gospel, the bitter truth that nobody likes to hear. That is why people run away from our platforms, because we cannot come here to give you those voices and read what they are doing. And what we have time is to narrate what they are saying. So they are the one giving me what I will say. No, now rather, I will be the one to give them what they will say about USB declared. This prevents the country from being a Paris state like the military of junta in Miami or Mali. These things has happened in the past, and it's still happening today. Many countries in Africa use military force, but after they handed over, because of there is no perfect declaration, and because of that time in 20th centuries, the world allows military arms in a movement like this to go and war with other one. But this 21st century, the world changes the narrative and said the only thing we want is what? A peaceful declaration. That's all we want, nothing more than that. In summary,
declaration, the world will treat the country as a security vacuum. This often leads to international intervention or total economic blockade. By following the GIE's peaceful declaration, the military ensures that once the war is over, there is an immediate civilian administration ready to take over. This prevents the country from becoming a pariah state like the military juntas in Myanmar or Mali. Summary: the chain of legitimacy. The liberation military provides the power, but the government in exile provides the authority. 1. The peaceful declaration proves you follow the 21st century rules of the game.
I hope you are listening. The liberation military provide the power, but government in exile provide the authority. Authority is number one thing. 1. The peaceful declaration proves you have followed the 21st century's rules of the game of having a new nation. The world will answer you.
2. The GIE gets the UN seat and the bank accounts.
Are you hearing it? With this peaceful declaration and diplomatic movement, the government in exile, because of peaceful declaration, gets what? They get seats on the UN very soon. When USB is talking, don't play with it. When you see our DPM saying things, do not panic. Do not take it for granted, because we are already there. The UN will soon grant USB recognition. Okay, because of we hold them on this peaceful declaration. These are their laws. This is what they want us to do, and that is what we are doing. This is what they want us to do, and that is what we are doing. Because it is very important for us to know the right and the wrong. USB we are declared is the right. That is what the peaceful declaration that provides that you are following the 21st century rule of the game of a new country, having a new country. These are the things that we need to know. Let's continue.
3. The military becomes the legal protector of those assets.
Are you hearing it? If they agree to work under USB we are declared, everything becomes easy. So I am going to repeat once again until we go into Africans that what Butozo Gentoo is doing today, that they have did it in the past, and he lead them into prison. Hold on. Listen to this again before we go.
In 2026, the global legal environment is designed to favor states and penalize militias. For a liberation military, a peaceful declaration by their government in exile, GIE, is the only legal bridge that allows them to stop being treated as criminals and start being treated as a national army. Without this declaration, the world sees you as unauthorized armed actors. With it, you become the official military wing of a sovereign entity. 1. The legal transformation from criminals to combatants. In the eyes of the UN and International Humanitarian Law (IHL), there is a massive difference between a rebel and a soldier. Status as rebels. Without a peaceful declaration of a government, your fighters are legally common criminals under domestic law. If captured, they have no right to prisoner of war, POW status, and can be prosecuted for terrorism or murder. Status as a national force, a peaceful declaration establishes civilian supremacy. It tells the UN that the military obeys a political leadership that respects international law. This grants your fighters combatant immunity, meaning they cannot be prosecuted for lawful acts of war, and they must be treated with dignity as POWs if captured. 2. The rebranding from threat to protector. In 2026, the international community, UN, EU, AU, uses social media and intelligence to monitor armed groups. A peaceful declaration changes how your actions are interpreted. Action. Interpretation as a militia. Interpretation as a national defense force. Holding a checkpoint. Extortion, illegal roadblock. Securing public order. Arresting a spy. Kidnapping/disappearance. National security operation. Using force. Terrorism/insurgency. Legitimate self-defense. Requesting aid. Funding rebels. Illegal. Security sector support. Legal. 3. Access to professional life. The life of a liberation soldier changes because the declaration opens doors that are locked to rebels. Amnesty and delisting. A peaceful declaration is the primary requirement for getting names removed from UN and US terrorist watch lists. It allows your commanders to travel, hold bank accounts, and participate in diplomacy. Training and equipment. Legitimate nations cannot legally send weapons to rebels due to UN arms embargoes. However, they can send defensive equipment, uniforms, and communication gear to a recognized national defense force to help them protect civilians. Security sector reform, SSR. The AU and UN can only send experts to train you in modern military standards once you are part of a recognized government framework. 4. Avoiding the failed state trap. The UN and AU have a coup doctrine. They will never recognize a government that is run by the military alone. If the military liberates the country without a peaceful civilian government declaration, the world will treat the country as a security vacuum. This often leads to international intervention or total economic blockade. By following the GIE's peaceful declaration, the military ensures that once the war is over, there is an immediate civilian administration ready to take over. This prevents the country from becoming a pariah state like the military juntas in Myanmar or Mali. Summary. The chain of legitimacy. The liberation military provides the power, but the government in exile provides the authority. 1. The peaceful declaration proves you follow the 21st century rules of the game. 2. The GIE gets the UN seat and the bank accounts. 3. The military becomes the legal protector of those assets. Would you like me to draft a standard operating procedure, SOP, for the liberation military to show the UN that they are acting as a professional national force?
I hope you have had it all. This is pure truth. This is what gentle and need to know. This is what every Biafra Liberation Army, even those that are joining the group that don't know about, it's a high time you come to listen to the real, so you can, it's your own personal life that we're talking about. It's your own life that I am talking about, not my life, because I believe in this peaceful declaration. I believe in the doctrine of the world, the peaceful declaration, as the only solution that gives me Biafra as my own country. These are the things that at this stage we are into that we never knew. Now we are knowing. Please help, like, and share the program, please. Subscribe on the YouTube page if you never do that. It is very important that we all understand where we are and why we have to maintain this new law. They said accepting a peaceful declaration is accepting the rules that guides a new country in this 21st century. There is 21st century laws. Whoever that asks you anything about me, ask him, can you tell us the rule, the guidance of the 21st century law for you as a minister to come out and give order? And in which country has it happened before? Now let us go into Africa to find out African countries that exactly what we are facing today has happened to them and how or what happened to those military.
In African history, when a liberation military refuses to accept a peaceful declaration or a transition to civilian rule, they typically follow one of three paths: criminalization, eternal civil war, or total isolation. In the 21st century, the world no longer views these groups as freedom fighters, but as spoilers of peace. Here is what history shows happens to those who refuse to sign. 1. The Savimbi Fate, Eternal War and Death. Jonas Savimbi led UNITA in Angola. After the 1992 elections, he refused to accept a peaceful declaration of the results and returned to the bush to keep fighting. What happened? By refusing peace, he lost all international hero status. The UN placed heavy sanctions on UNITA's diamond trade, the origin of the term blood diamonds. The result? Isolated and bankrupt, his own former allies began to desert him. He was eventually hunted down and killed by the state military in 2002. His movement, which could have been a powerful political party, was almost entirely destroyed because he chose the gun over the signature. 2. The Renamo Fate, From Heroes to Bandits. In Mozambique, RENAMO fought a brutal war but struggled for years to accept a political identity. The label, because they refused to transition to a peaceful political declaration for a long time, the international community and even neighboring African states labeled them armed bandits. The change, they only survived by finally signing the 1992 Rome General Peace Accords. History shows that those who didn't sign similar deals in the region were eventually wiped out by regional intervention forces from groups like the SADC, Southern African Development Community. 3. The Khartoum/Sudan Fate, Total State Collapse. Currently, in Sudan, 2023 to 2026, we are seeing what happens when two military wings, the SEF and the RSF, both refuse to follow a peaceful civilian declaration. The outcome: the country has been deleted from the global economy. The lesson: neither side is recognized as a legitimate sovereign. Their commanders are facing International Criminal Court (ICC) investigations, and their assets are frozen worldwide. They control the land, but they are ruling over ruins. What happens to the comrades who refuse? If they accept the declaration, if they refuse the declaration, integrated into the new national army, targeted by UN per astronomical unit military interventions, commanders become generals or ministers. Commanders become wanted fugitives, Interpol. The group receives wages and pensions. The group survives on black market/looting. They are the founding fathers. They are labeled warlords in history books. The sanctions war. In the 21st century, if an African liberation military refuses a peaceful declaration, 1. The AU suspension. The African Union immediately blocks the country. 2. Arms embargo. No legitimate country can sell them a single bullet. 3. Financial death. Their leaders cannot use a bank anywhere in the world. Summary. History is clear. Liberation militaries that refused to sign declarations either died in the jungle or became the enemy of the very people they claimed to liberate. The successful ones, like the ANC in South Africa or SWAPO in Namibia, are the ones who realized that the war of the gun must end for the war of the pen to begin. Would you like me to look into a specific African leader who refused a peace deal to see exactly how their story ended?
I hope you listen on this again. What we are facing to today in the hands of Gentle Butozo and those such liberation commanders has happened in some countries. And there is what of those that are accepted peaceful declaration? The history is there. These two law that we are into right now, that is happening in our own time, has happened some areas in the past. And what happens? You are hearing it. Some was arrested, some was killed at the moment, some was sentenced to life to death imprisonment, some hanged themselves. A lot of things happened. Let us do a cheap, fast analysis because of my time.
In African history, when a liberation military refuses to accept a peaceful declaration or a transition to civilian rule, they typically follow one of three paths: criminalization, eternal civil war, or total isolation. In the
I
21st
hope you
century,
are hearing it. In African history, when a liberation military refuses to accept a peaceful declaration or transition to a civil rule, they typically followed one of the three paths: criminalization, internal civil war, total isolation. These are two main criteria that what the UN, EU, AU, and US are looking at. They will use these three criteria to judge these groups. Let us hear about the 21st centuries. If after a peaceful declaration, those who went inside bush and claiming they are fighting for a new country in Biafra movement today, if such thing happen in some Africa, despite it's a time of war, war before you can become a state. Listen to this.
The world no longer views these groups as freedom fighters, but as spoilers of peace. Here is what history shows happens to those who refuse to sign.
I hope you followed. In 21st century, the world is no longer view this group as a freedom fighter, but as a spoilers of peace. Here is why history chose. Here is what history chose happened to those who refused to sign. The military commanders that refuses to sign or refuse to accept a peaceful declaration of a civilian rule, something happened to them in the history of those in Africa. And the word said that any military commander, after a peaceful declaration that refuses to accept a peaceful declaration, that those people are no longer fighting a freedom fighter. They are no longer seen as a freedom fighter. They see as a spoiler, rebel, common criminal, terror. That is how the world sees you. Not Ngozi Arabeze, not USB we are declared, not me, but history is repeating on your head in that line you are towing. Let's continue.
1. The Savimbi Fate, Eternal War and Death. Jonas Savimbi led UNITA in Angola. After
Are you
the
hearing it? A man, a military commander from Angola, who refused to accept a peaceful declaration, even though he went through election, he still refused.
1992 elections, he refused to accept the peaceful declaration of the results and returned to the bush to keep fighting.
Are you hearing it? He refuses everything that done by the government of the peaceful civilians. Like those who are in the bush today want to give us order. This man, Sambiva Faith, enter into what? He went back into bush because he did not accept a result or a peaceful declaration. Rather, he want to be in charge. Look at Butozo being in charge of Biafran people. But I'm happy that Biafrans understand, and we have those aware trained this time around to carry affair of the Biafran people. We have ministers that are well trained. That is one we are going to present to the UN to prove that these men, we don't know them. But it's earlier, it is time for all of you to repent and come back to avoid what happened to this man from Angola. The world will view you, all of you today, that after our peaceful declaration, that you refused to accept the declaration and you went back to bush. The world sees you, view as well they view the man from UNITA in Angola. The world view him as what? That he's no longer fighting a freedom, that he becomes a rebel, he becomes a spoiler, he becomes a common terror and the criminal. That is how the world see it. Is it how you want the world to see you?
Happened. By refusing peace, he lost all international hero status. The UN placed heavy sanctions on UNITA's diamond trade, the origin of the term blood diamonds. The result, isolated and bankrupt.
Listen, what happened to him, to this group that refused to accept a peaceful liberation of Angola or a peaceful result that's coming from Angola? What happened? What happened to? By refusing peace, he lost all international hero status. The UN placed a heavy sanction on UNITS, demanding trend. The origin of the team was being what? Banned. And what happened? Let's continue listening. Listen to the result.
His own former allies began to desert him. He was eventually hunted down and killed by the state military in 2002. His movement, which could have been a powerful political party, was almost entirely destroyed because he chose the gun over the signature.
Are you hearing it? For you that are inside bush, choosing a gun over a signature. A signature is a peaceful declaration because people must sign. And in USB, we are declared in Helsinki, Finland, November 29, 2024. People sign about the declaration. Is it not true? The world values signature more than gun. And because of this particular man from Angola, refuses to end up and submit all his weapons to the government, and he hold and wants to control Angola government, and that makes a peaceful declaration, the world remove all the status of him being a hero, and they put him on ground. They targeted him, they pursue him, they until they waste his life, until they buy him they buy him in 2002. A man that's supposed to be a history, that's supposed to be a hero. He was being buyed because of what? Because of his personal interest and his own personal opinion. Because of his own personal ignorance, refusing where the world is. So if the world can do it then, that they still believe that countries can only be having a country through a military or a battlefield war through military commanders, and they arrested those that after that they refuse to return. What of you? In this was first thing they told that the only what you have is a peaceful declaration, and they so understand that USB has made a peaceful declaration. What do you think? They will pity you, and you're including Donald Trump that helped to capture a man in Angola and West him because of the refusal refuse to accept a peaceful declaration, democracy rule by the civilians. What of you? So you think they will leave you? It's the high time that you start thinking the other way around. You had the result. The result, isolated and bankrupt. His own former allies began to distance himself. He was eventually hunted down and killed by the state military in 2002. They killed him. But ladies and gentlemen, think the actions and what you are doing. Where is the right track that's supposed to be? You're supposed to accept a peaceful declaration. Host Biafran flag after our declaration. That proves that you are what? That you support this government, that you're on the right track, that even if anything happened to you, that the world, Donald Trump will intervene. The only time that Donald Trump will intervene in all this we are called is when it's coming through United States of Biafra government. But if it is not coming through United States of Biafra government, the world sees it as what? As a spoiler of peace in the atmosphere.
2. The Renamo Fate, From Heroes to Bandits. In Mozambique, RENAMO fought a brutal war but struggled for years to accept a political identity.
Are you hearing it? After fighting the war, after trying everything, they don't want to accept a peaceful declaration. Now we are talking about Mozambique. They see them as a bandit. They look at them as a bandit. They look at them as a common criminal. They look at them as a rebel. They look at them as a spoiler of peace. There is no how they don't look at them. Let us see what happened to them. In Mozambique, Remo fought a brutal war but struggles for years to accept a peaceful political declaration. What do they label him? Listen.
The label. Because they refused to transition to a peaceful political declaration for a long time, the international community and even neighboring African states labeled them armed bandits.
Are you hearing it? The label. Because they refused to transition to a peaceful political declaration for a long time, the international community and even neighbors in Africa states labeled them armed bandits. That is what they brought upon themselves. That is how they destroy themselves. That is how they end up the good. That is why we are calling on Gentile and Butosa to listen to instruction, to face reality, to face a bitter truth that will save their life. Remember that what the word here, that they refuse to accept a peaceful political declaration of Mozambique. They tag them what? Bandit. They tag them what? Rebel. They tag them what? Spoiler. They tag them what? Terror. They tag them what? Criminal. Is it what you want for yourself? After all this sufferness, after all these things, now that they have given you a very chance of a leverage that every status will change through a peaceful declaration, now you leave it. So you want the world to charge you or the way they charge the leader of the commander of Mozambique. They charge him a military bandit.
They only survived by finally signing the 1992 Rome General Peace Accords. History shows that those who didn't sign similar deals in the region were eventually wiped out by regional intervention forces from groups like the SADC, Southern African Development Community.
Are you hearing it? They wipe them away because they refuse to accept a peaceful political a declaration. That is how all are being wiped away. So, my people, we have our time. We are going to allow you to play and play again. Please, anytime you watch this program, please watch and like and share so that Butozo and Gento and their group may eventually get this message. So there we know where the world is and what is benefit of the peaceful declaration that will changes their status from being a rebel to a defense force of a new nation. These are the areas that are very important that we must take home.
Khartoum/Sudan. Current in Sudan, 2023 to 2026, we are seeing what happens when two military wings, the SEF and the RSF, both refuse to follow a peaceful civilian declaration. The outcome: the country has been deleted from the global economy. The lesson: neither side is recognized as a legitimate sovereign. Their commanders are facing International Criminal Court (ICC) investigations, and their assets are frozen worldwide. They control the land, but they are ruling over ruins. What happens to the comrades who refuse? If they accept the declaration, if they refuse the declaration, integrated into the new national army, targeted by UN per astronomical unit military interventions, commanders become generals or ministers. Commanders become wanted fugitives, Interpol. The group receives wages and pensions. The group survives on black market/looting. They are the founding fathers. They are labeled warlords in history books.
Okay.
The sanctions wall. In the 21st century, if an African liberation military refuses a peaceful declaration, 1. The AU suspension. The African Union immediately blocks the country. 2. Arms embargo. No legitimate country can sell them a single bullet. 3. Financial death. Their leaders cannot use a bank anywhere in the world. Summary. History is clear. Liberation militaries that refused to sign declarations either died in the jungle or became the enemy of the very people they claim to liberate. The successful ones, like the ANC in South Africa or SWAPO in Namibia, are the ones who realized that the war of the gun must end for the war of the pen to begin. Would you like me to look into a specific African leader who refused a peace deal to see exactly how their story ended?
We are coming to that tomorrow. So, my people, please, the only thing I ask you is to share and like this program. From sharing, it will go to those that want it to get to. The time we are into is a time to face the right and tell everyone the truth. And this truth is only what set us free in this moment that we are into. So please, you can see, rejecting a peaceful declaration, you are tagging yourself rebel, terror, a spoiler, a common criminal, and a bandit. Listen, it has happened before. And now that you, gentle, you, Butozo, you, anybody who carries arm in Biafra land are tutoring this way, be ready for what the world will call you. Not Ngozi Arabez, not USB, not Biafra TV, but I am passing a message to you. I am a messenger. Take the message. It's very, very important. So, my people, I thank you for being here. This is how far we can go for today. Thank you so much. Until we come back again the same time tomorrow. On this is what we are doing on this page. We are not changing. This is the work they call us to come and do. Even if it is only one person is watching, this is our message. We are not going to go into that one that draws crowd, where our people like to laugh and hear so much. That is why our people believe in external matter too much instead of the external, that we liberate all ourselves and let the world know that we understand this law and we have implemented it holistically. We are telling the world to know that USB we are declared has approved or agreed on the rules of a peaceful declaration. Only way to have a new nation through a signature after the declaration. That is where we are. The Biafran military are taking instruction from the USB government under the Ngozi Arabeze is where they are taking the instructions. The world do not make mistake. You know that after a peaceful declaration, there will be a rebel. There will be saboteurs. There will be betrayers, those that never want us to move because of their position and what they are getting in the hands of Nigeria. So from me, from here, it is a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Until we see again tomorrow. May God protect all of us and guide us. Thank you, my people. Bye for now. Bye for now.